You ever wake up one morning and realize the entire neighborhood is about to blame you for surviving? That's how it all started for me, right on the edge of Silver Pines, a place so proud of its master planning you'd think they laid every brick by hand just to torture people with their idea of order. But my slice of land, that was different. I bought it 8 years ago. No realtor, no suits, just me, a shovel, and a promise to myself that nobody was ever going to tell me what shade of beige my mailbox should be. Not again, not ever. See, my lot was technically outside the subdivision. It was an old farm parcel left out of the subdivision's cookie-cutter map, probably because it didn't fit their HOA-approved soul-sucking symmetry. I cleared every inch of that place myself, one brush pile, one sunburn at a time. Every nail in the frame, every shovel of concrete I either put there myself or hovered over the guy who did. The foundation was so overbuilt the local inspector laughed and asked if I was expecting an earthquake. Roof had hurricane straps, and this isn't even Florida. Maybe I was paranoid, maybe I just knew what mattered, but let me tell you, I slept easy every night dreaming of a world where FEMA only rolled up to ask for building tips, not to pull me out of the rubble. For 6 years, life was exactly how I wanted. Me, my old mutt Boone, the smell of tomato vines, and not a single friendly reminder about sod or shutters or native shrubs. Then, one day, out of nowhere, the first letter came. Wrapped up in enough legal jargon to choke a goat, the HOA respectfully requested I remove part of my wooden fence because it violated their community standards. I actually laughed alone in my kitchen, figured I'd missed a punchline. But I hadn't. I just ignored it. My deed was ironclad. I had never been, and could not ever be forced to join their HOA. Apparently that technicality didn't sit well with them. 3 weeks later, I roll up to find a woman in my driveway, arms crossed, oozing authority, like she just got promoted at the DMV. Tall, plastic blonde, the kind of person who treats every interaction like an HR seminar. "Are you Mr. Morgan?" she asked, lips tight, like she was sucking a lemon. I nodded slow. "I'm Karen Whitmore, president of the Silver Pines Homeowners Association. I'm here to talk about your fence and your property's non-compliance." I let her words hang in the air like a fart in an elevator. Then I said, "Karen, you're standing on private property. Your HOA's got zero say here. You need to leave." She tried something about community cohesion. I asked if that included people who never signed up. She called it a gray area. I called it trespassing. A week later, I'd had enough. Filed a restraining order and a small claims suit. The order stuck. The suit was pure entertainment. Walked into court with my original deed zoning maps, 3 notarized surveyor letters. Judge didn't even let her lawyer finish. He hammered the gavel, gave me $1,000 for my trouble, and told her to stop harassing independent landowners. You'd think that'd be the end, right? Not a chance. For 2 months, clipboard people loitered at the edge of my yard, snapping photos like I was running a drug ring. I put up camera signs, even caught one guy relieving himself behind my shed. Still, the letters kept coming, all about cooperative compliance and community image, until my lawyer finally filed a motion in county court. Any HOA rep who set foot on my property again would be looking at civil penalties. That did it. The Karen squad retreated. So I got back to my routine morning walks with Boone tomato vines, Netflix without buffering. Everything was good until one morning at 4 a.m., the ground itself started to growl, metal on metal, low and deep, up through the floor like some prehistoric drum. Boone woke up first. The whole house started swaying, no warning, no time to think, books crashing, lights out, explosion in the garage. Pretty sure it was the emergency propane. I grabbed Boone, dragged him down the hall as the ceiling cracked overhead, and then just like that, it was over. A high-pitched silence. I stood up, heart pounding. This wasn't some baby tremor. This was the real deal. The big one. Outside dust hung like fog. Sirens everywhere, far off and confused. But my house was still standing, a few cracks, sure, but the structure was solid. Power was out, but everything that mattered was fine. Then I looked toward the subdivision. It was wrecked. Roofs caved in, walls split, chimneys down. One place had just vanished into the basement. Boone bristled. And who should emerge from the chaos but Karen, wild-eyed, barefoot, mascara-streaked, looked at my house, then at me, then back at my house. "Of course your house is fine," she snapped. "I built it myself," I said, "with rebar and actual codes." She just stared, muttering about how none of this made sense, and stormed off into the ruins of her HOA empire. That day, and the ones after, I mostly kept to myself. Emergency crews everywhere. FEMA, National Guard, news helicopters. My house turned into a landmark. News vans outside my fence. Some reporter trying to drone over my roof. Boone barked that thing out of the sky. In 72 hours, headlines, "Only one house standing in Silver Pines." I never wanted any of it. Karen, though she wasn't curious, she was furious. I caught her whispering to FEMA reps, pointing at my solar panels, the soil. By day 5, the stares started not just curiosity, but suspicion. Why did his house survive? What's he hiding? Rumors exploded. A neighbor swore I'd installed secret military dampers. Another said I used to work for DARPA. Somebody even floated geoengineering. But the punchline came a week later. A manila envelope, bold letters, notice of civil action. The HOA, led by Karen, was suing me for $15 million, accused me of undermining community structural integrity, engineering sabotage, failure to disclose soil anomalies. I laughed, until I didn't. They were dead serious. Karen wasn't just mad her house fell. She'd picked her villain, and it was me. Jennifer Lawson, my bulldog attorney from the fence wars, picked up on the second ring. "You sitting down?" I asked. "Already billing you," she said. She didn't even flinch at the number. We scheduled an emergency meeting. I started collecting every scrap of evidence: blueprints, soil tests, drone footage, permits from 8 years back. Jennifer showed up in a dust-covered warbun heels, sinking into the grass, poking my anchor bolts, shaking her head. "They're suing you for being the only person who built to code. This'll be fun." But Karen was just warming up. Local news vans, pushy reporters at the fence. "Mr. Morgan, does the community deserve answers?" All while Karen stood in front of her collapsed McMansion, misty-eyed for the camera, spinning a story. Then came the flyers. "Did he know?" stapled to telephone poles. "Justice for Silver Pines." It got worse. Someone posted grainy footage online, looked like me kneeling near the property line at night planting something. Deepfake, said Jennifer after her tech team ran it. AI-generated metadata, all wrong. They were making evidence up. That's when I realized this wasn't a lawsuit. It was a witch hunt. I'd become the villain in their HOA disaster movie. So I flipped the script, pulled every photo report, email blueprint put together, a monster 162-page PDF open structural report on Stone Bluff Road, posted it everywhere. By morning, 30,000 downloads. Headlines changed overnight. The house that beat the quake. My email blew up contractors' colleges. Even FEMA wanted to use my report. Jennifer laughed. "You just sucker punched them with math." But then came the twist: anonymous email. "You're looking in the wrong direction. The problem wasn't your house. It was ours." Attached damning HOA emails, blank-signed inspection reports, proof that Karen's own brother's company poured the foundation, skipped code, fake checks. Private auditor confirmed that most houses used bad concrete, missing rebar deck screws where steel bolts should have gone. Karen had been the project liaison, the one who signed off on every build. We filed a counterclaim for defamation and emotional distress. Court was a circus. Karen, in her designer suit, trembling for the cameras, claiming community destabilization. Inside, the judge asked one question: "Has the plaintiff verified any of these claims with a licensed engineer?" Karen's attorney started mumbling. Our side, though, had everything. The report, independent experts, even forensic proof. The HOA tried to introduce deepfake evidence. Judge didn't throw out the HOA suit yet, but ordered full discovery and technical review. That's when Karen really lost it. Subpoenaed emails showed she'd greenlit payments for work never done, skipped seismic checks to save money. Her brother's LLC had long since gone bankrupt. Suddenly, old supporters turned residents wanted to join a class action. One teacher handed Jennifer a letter she'd been threatened by Karen if she didn't sign the lawsuit. Local news jumped on it. Private engineer exposes HOA from hell. I ignored the attention, just wanted to be left alone. Karen doubled down, accused me of manipulating public opinion, tried for a gag order. Judge denied it flat. And then, real twist, court ordered a forensic audit of Silver Pines HOA's finances. Not just about me anymore. The whole rotten foundation was exposed. The morning after, 2 squad cars rolled up at my gate. Nick Morgan. That's me. You're under arrest for fraudulent construction, property endangerment, obstruction of a government inquiry. I just stared. You've got to be kidding. The warrant was fake. Judge's signature forged. Jennifer tore the whole thing apart, point by point, right in the station. Boone was waiting in Jennifer's car when I got out. Surveillance footage caught Karen herself delivering a fake warrant to the local news station, pushing for a story that I'd caused the earthquake. Within days, she was arrested for forgery and obstruction, picked up at a brunch she'd thrown for rebuilding leaders. She didn't even finish her mimosa. The civil suit against me suspended. The HOA board quit en masse. Judge Alvarez awarded me $850,000 in damages for the deepfake, the forged warrant, the whole circus. I fixed my kitchen tiles, built Boone the doghouse of his dreams. FEMA called to use my report in their curriculum. I threw a barbecue for the neighbors, even the ones who'd once believed the flyers. Nobody apologized. Nobody had to. Karen's house stayed roped off her Range Rover, gone. Sunset the backyard full of smoke and laughter. One kid pointed at my porch beams. You do all that yourself? Yeah, I said. Did you know the earthquake was coming? No, but I knew nobody else was planning for it. Funny thing, some houses fall when the ground shakes. Some stand and some end up showing the whole town how it should have been done in the first place. So, what do you think is justice, just surviving or standing tall when everyone else wants you to fall? Drop your thoughts below, and if you've ever been through an HOA horror story or just survived something nobody believed you could, let's hear it. Maybe it's time we all built a little stronger, you know?